Welcome back, Portalmasters. SCL Matt here with another episode of Ask Matt. This is episode number 7. I took last week off to deal with some personal matters, but it's all good. We're back this week and we're going to answer some of your questions. So, for those of you who might be new to this series, thank you for taking the time to watch. A couple of rules going forward. If you have a question you want me to answer, leave it down in the comments below. I have a rule of one question per person per week. If you ask more than one question, I won't answer any of your questions. And also, please try to have your questions in by Monday evening so I can record them in time and have them out as planned here on Wednesday. So, getting into this week's questions. I'm hoping not too many of these are time sensitive as I took last week off, but we'll do the best we can to answer these questions for you. First question, who is your favorite Skylanders creation so far in Imaginators? I'm assuming you're talking about the Imaginators that we can create. I personally haven't created a lot of figures yet. I've been working more recently on creating some Skylanders versions of well-known figures, such as I just put out a video about how to make Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank. I'll have a couple more of those videos coming out later this week, and if you guys like what you see, maybe we'll put some more of those out too. But yeah, that's probably been one of the ones I've been more proud of so far. Like I said, I haven't made a lot of them. I am still fond of my first creation. I called him Burnt Toast. There's a video about that one too, if you want to check that out. But yeah, it's something I need to get into a little bit more. It is the creation aspect of the game. It's actually kind of fun. A lot of people are getting into it, and I need to just spend some more time doing that, I think. Do you think Activision no longer cares about their fans and only about making money now? The fan interaction has declined, and I personally feel like not adding PvP has been a slap in the face to fans. Honestly, they've always been about making money. Always. They're a business. They're a big business, and that's what they do. Honestly, I think fan interaction this year is up from what we've seen in recent years. So it's hard to say exactly where they're at. They haven't had PvP in the game for years now. They may have their own reasons, but I think the biggest issue is communication. And we don't know why they took it out, really. They may have their reasons. They may not. It may just be something they don't want to do anymore. I don't know. But in my opinion, communication is their biggest problem, and it's always been about making money. But like I said, they're a business. It's what they got to do. Did you have a good Thanksgiving, and did you do any Black Friday shopping? I did have a good Thanksgiving. Thank you for asking. As for Black Friday, as I said in a couple other videos, I did not do any Black Friday shopping. I did go out on Saturday, the day after, and I did check out what was out then. I was able to hit up a Toys R Us that weekend, so I wanted to check out and see what they had. I was able to pick up the Enchanted Elven Forest and a couple new crystals that day, but nothing real spectacular. I didn't go out and face the crowds or anything like that, so the sales weren't that good to attract me, so there wasn't too much I needed to pick up. So yeah, I didn't do any true Black Friday shopping. Didn't pick a lot that whole weekend even. I have completed all the elemental realms. My game says I've only done 9. Any tips? Without seeing your game, it's a little hard to tell. I guess I would go into the menu and check on the game progress or whatever it is, the thing with all the stars. It lists all of the levels and then all the elemental realms and tells you how many stars you have in each. I would double check that list and see if there's one that doesn't have any stars and it thinks you haven't played, or I don't know. If they do all have stars in that column, that's kind of weird. I would just go through and play them all again, and hopefully it registers the second time through. I don't really know what to tell you. I haven't heard of that being a problem or an issue in this game. So yeah, I'd double check those and play through them all again. The game's fun. I enjoyed it. I would have no problem playing through them all again. I mean, I will be doing that eventually. So I guess enjoy it, and I hope the counter fixes itself for you. Do you hope that Skylanders games will be out on the Nintendo NX when the NX comes out? Well, first of all, we know it's now called the Nintendo Switch, is the official name of the NX. That has been announced. Do I hope it'll come out? Yeah, obviously. It'll bring in a new audience, and people have always loved playing Skylanders on Nintendo platforms. I don't, however, think that Imaginators will come out on the Switch. I don't think they're gonna push the game out on a new platform mid-cycle. So I wouldn't expect to see this game on. If it gets onto the Switch, it's gonna be the next game. So I wouldn't expect to see anything soon at all for Skylanders on the Switch. But yeah, that'd be awesome if it did come out there. This year, do you predict there will be a character that doesn't really get a release? I would say no. Every year that they go into this, they don't sit down and say, hey, we're going to announce these 20 characters, but this one we are not going to release. They go in with the intention to release everything. That is their intention. They're like I said earlier, they're a business and they want to sell product. So they are going to do everything they can to get that product out there so people give them money. So I'm not going to predict that they're not going to release a character or something like that. It's just there's a lot of circumstances that come into play, and I think, like I said, the biggest thing that hurts is the lack of communication. They're not letting us into all the intimate details of how their shipping process works, and why things are the way they are, and why we get some products more than others, and why they end up in some countries and not others. It's frustrating, definitely frustrating, but yeah, they're gonna try to ship them, but what actually happens, who knows? Do you miss and want the special variants back, such as minis and LightCores? Honestly, I was never really a fan of all the different variations that they gave us. A lot of people like the LightCore. I didn't think they were that special. The minis, they're small, they're cute, but did I use them that much? Not really. I preferred the regular figures, whether it be the gimmick landers for that year, or the core Skylanders that we used to have in games. Those are the characters I would use. Those are the characters I enjoy playing with. So I kind of enjoy this year when we just have the Senseis. I mean, we have the Imaginators as well, but as far as physical figures go, it's just like we just had this one type. I kind of liked it last year too when we had the Superchargers. Those were the figures. That's what you played with. And it didn't have this, it got to be a mess when we had so many different types of characters. It just confused everybody, to be honest. I answer so many questions and emails about what they were and what they did and if they were compatible with this, and it was messy. That's the bottom line. It was messy, and it's much easier to just stick with one line of figures and make those great. When is Wave 3 coming out in Canada? Well, that's a good question. I don't have any information specifically about Canada. Obviously, it's out here in the US at Toys R Us. Most of Europe is getting it this week. I believe we just got another confirmation that the UK is getting it on December 16th. That seems to be their date. December 8th is down in Australia. So I would imagine Canada should be coming out either this week or next week as well, along with what seems to be now the rest of the world. So I don't have an exact date for Canada yet. I know they were up, the listings were up on Best Buy Canada, their website. So maybe check there. Maybe they're going to be the first ones to get them up, or maybe they'll update the listings with the release date or something like that. I don't know for sure, but that's one place you can check, because they seem to be getting prepared for some kind of release. What Air Skylander do you like? I'm not real good at picking favorites, but to be honest, the Air Skylanders, I have a hard time liking them. There really haven't been too many over the years that I've liked. Last year I did enjoy playing with Stormblade. She was kind of cool. This year I have enjoyed playing with Airstrike a lot. He's probably been my favorite Air Skylander to date. I obviously don't have Bad Juju yet, so I can't judge that too much. And Wildstorm isn't out yet, so I can't judge that. They look like fun characters for sure, but I can't say anything if I actually like them or not. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Airstrike, because I have been using him a lot this year. What are your favorite levels in Skylanders Imaginators? So, probably my favorite overall was the Thumpin' Wump Islands, the Crash Bandicoot level. That is a lot of fun to play, a lot of content in there, a lot of side quests and mini games and all sorts of stuff to play with. So if you haven't had a chance, I highly recommend getting the Thumpin' Wump Islands Adventure Pack now that that's out, with Crash Bandicoot and Dr. Neo Cortex, because it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it very, very much, and I think most of you will too. If you want a level that's just in the main campaign, I don't know, I'd probably go with the Golden Arcade. I believe that was level 7, somewhere in there. The Golden Arcade, another level that had a lot of areas to explore and little mini games and such like that. A lot of content once again, and it was a lot of fun. It had a good theme to it, and that theme kind of played out throughout the entire level, and I had a lot of fun playing it. So yeah, check that one out too. Can you send a character from the app to the game? And the answer would be no. You can only transfer characters from the game to the app. I think the big reason is unlocking stuff in the app is a lot easier than it is in the game, and they want to prevent that. They want you to actually play through the game to get these awesome ultimate pieces and parts. In the app too, you can unlock all the stuff that's like character specific parts that you actually need the character to unlock it in the game. And so I think they want to prevent all that. Like it would break down a lot of stuff they built into the game if they allowed you to transfer from the app to the game. So you can only transfer from the game to the app, not the other way around. Who is your favorite Skylander of all time? Oh man, there's hundreds of them now. How are you gonna make me choose just one? Oddly enough though, I did have someone ask me this recently, and they needed an answer. So they whittled it down, and I ended up picking Rattleshake. There's a lot of Skylanders I like. There really are, and it's really hard to pick just one. And I like one of the biggest problems I have is that they're Skylanders. I like their design, but not their play style, and then there's Skylanders like their play style but not their design. And how do you balance those, or you just take them separately? Or it's a tough job, especially when you have, like I said, hundreds of characters now to choose from. So by design mostly, I really like Rattleshake, and in particular, if you want to give more specific, Quick Draw Rattleshake, the variant. That I love that figure. That's one of my all-time favorites for sure. How long did it take you to become a successful YouTube channel for Skylanders? Well, it depends how you determine success. Am I successful now? I guess here's my Skylanders YouTube journey. I have been with Skylanders for like the past 4 years or so, but I didn't actually start posting videos on YouTube until maybe 2 years ago or so. It was sometime during Trap Team, I believe, that I actually started posting videos on YouTube, but then it wasn't very consistent, and it was just a video now and then. It was mostly gameplay. It was about a year ago, though, about when we got Superchargers, that I really made the decision that I'm going to commit more time to YouTube, commit more time to making videos, and try to make this happen. Still, I don't have a huge following. Yeah, I finally made over 1,000 subscribers, which is great. That's a huge milestone as far as YouTube goes, but I'm still a very small channel compared to a lot of YouTubers, even compared to a lot of Skylanders YouTubers. So it depends what you call success. So like I said, I've been doing this for, posting videos for like 2 years, but really only working hard at it for about a year. So if you think I'm successful, then I'd say probably about 2 years, somewhere in there. But yeah, it does take a lot of time and dedication to consistently put out content, and if you want to make your channel better and better, you got to keep working at it. It's not something that comes easily. It's not something that comes with just magic overnight. It's something you got to work at. What made you get into Skylanders? Honestly, what did I say, like 4 years ago, I was just looking for a new game to play. I wanted something I could sit back, relax, and just play. I didn't have to worry too much about dying or not being able to get past a bad guy or something like that. And I generally like platformers and puzzle games, and so it kind of fit right in. It was kind of that good mix of adventure, platformer, strategy type of thing, and something that I didn't have to think too hard about. And so I found Skylanders. I tried it out. This was in the middle of Giants, so Skylanders was huge at the time. It was hard to miss, actually, if you're looking at video games. And I gave it a shot, and I liked it. So I stuck with it, and now here I am. Who is your favorite Magic Skylander from each of the games? Wow, you're gonna make me think about this one. Actually, let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna run over to my website, SkylandersCharacterList.com. And what do you know? I have this list of characters by element. We'll pull up the magic list, and they're sorted by game. So, all the way back in Spyro's Adventure, when I started playing Spyro's Adventure, I didn't have all of these characters right away because I got into the game late. And so, I don't have a lot of experience with all of them. I played the most with Spyro, and I did enjoy Spyro. Design-wise, though, I do like Double Trouble and Wrecking Ball. I just haven't played much with them. So, if I had to pick one, we'll go with the original Spyro. Moving into Giants then. I'm still not really a fan of Pop Fizz as far as his play style. I just don't get behind that really. So I used a lot of Spyro again. Once again, I still like Wrecking Ball. I don't know. We'll go with Wrecking Ball in that one in Giants. Swap Force. I very much like Trap Shadow. He is a cool character. Great design. He turned out really well. In Trap Team, Enigma, hands down. You have to give it to Enigma. Probably up at that time, after 4 years, Enigma was like the best character they have created, especially from a design standpoint. But I mean, I enjoyed playing with him a lot as well. Skylanders Superchargers, we had Splat. Splat was the best. And then in Skylanders Imaginators, well, I've only been able to play with Mysticat so far, so he's pretty cool. I'm really hoping Pinata, whenever I can get my hands on him, I'm hoping he turns out to be as fun as he looks and as fun as I want him to be. Buckshot shouldn't be bad, I don't think, but he's not necessarily at the top of my list right now, so we'll see. We'll see. All right, back to the questions. Who is your favorite Sensei design? Once again, more favorites. This is like the 4th favorites question this week. Favorite Sensei design. We're gonna jump back here to the website again and check out our Sensei. There's some of these I really wish I could get my hands on right now. I don't have a lot of experience with them. A lot of Wave 3 looks really interesting, and I don't have hands-on yet. So, like Chain Reaction and Flare Wolf, I really want to like them. And then there's like Tide Pool and Wildstorm that look great. But I think the one who's going to take it overall for best design, in my opinion, is going to be Robo. Robo just looks so good, and I really want to like him. I need to get my hands on to make sure he's as good as the rendered image we have right now. Because we all know that can change a little bit. But Robo looks really good right now, and I just hope he turns out as good as we want him to. So, we'll go with Robo to answer that one. Are you going to do a playthrough of the brain challenges? So here I was a little confused by this one. I'm gonna assume that you mean after you complete the game, the brain comes out and he allows you to play through the different challenges. These challenges, for the most part, are very similar to the challenges you had to play through between chapter 7 and 8. Or was after chapter 8? It might have been after chapter 8. When you have to collect all the cake parts. Man, what was that after chapter 8? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about if you play through the game. When you have to collect all the cake parts and you're getting the missions from Pop Fizz, he gives you the option to go to these different places and play through these little challenges and mini games and such. And most of those, from my experience at least, are fairly similar to the brain challenges. I guess I haven't. I've only played 1 or 2, like that were given to me by the brain. I've just assumed that they were the same, I guess. In any case, so I do have a video of me going through and getting all the cake parts. So you see some of them in there. As far as making more of those, I suppose I could. That might be a nice idea, because there are a lot of variations on those games. Like there's, I think, like 7 different buildings you can go to, and then within each of those buildings there's a couple different games that you can play in each one. It just depends which one you get. So that might be a fun idea to actually go through and get all of them and make videos about each of them. So thanks for the idea, and yeah, maybe I will film some more of those. Do you think there will be another secret variant that only the Activision workers will get? Well, if I answered this last week, I probably would have told you yes. But this week, I am now leaning more towards no, because I do know that Activision has had their annual Christmas holiday party, and that's typically when this variant is handed out or announced or released or whatever you want to call it. And there has been no sign of the holiday Christmas variant for Skylanders for Activision. So right now it's looking like there will probably not be one this year. Could it show up later? Yeah, it could. But typically that's when it starts showing up and when we see something. So I wouldn't count on one this year anymore. Are you able to collect all the Imagineer parts in the game? And are we collecting duplicate parts? So yes and no. Okay, so the vast majority of parts, there are well over 1,000 different parts to collect in this game, and the vast majority of them are found just from opening random Imaginite chests that you collect in the game. I'd say good at least 95% of them. I don't have exact numbers on those right now. Maybe I'll figure that out someday, but there are some that you do need specific things to unlock. Whether it be, you may have noticed that when you put a new Sensei on the portal, you'll get a chest. And if you go to open that chest, it's titled as gift from whatever the Sensei's name was. So gift from Kingpin or something like that. And that is a piece that can only be found by putting Kingpin on the portal. There are some that are unlocked when the Senseis visit their shrine to unlock their Sky Chi move. When you do that, you get a chest and it has a specific item in it. And that item can only be unlocked by completing that specific task, by taking that Sensei to the shrine. So there are those, and then there when the crystals, when you put them on the portal, when you put your first fire element crystal on the portal, it unlocks a complete set, actually. A complete set of gear, and that is only available by putting a fire crystal on the portal. And then when you put a life crystal on the portal, you'll get another set. It's a specific set that unlocks when you put that life crystal on the portal. And those are the only ways to get those parts. And then there are some that are you have to complete another task in the game. Like, I know one specific one, the Candy Fantastic set. It is only found in the Tech Elemental realm. So that means not only in order to get this, you have to have a Tech Sensei to unlock the Tech Elemental realm, but you need to play through that realm and complete a certain task within that realm to unlock that set. Another one is, I forget what the name of it is, but it's the one with all the toilet bowl hat and the plungers and the toilet paper backpack and all that stuff. All the toilet related items can only be found down in the Rat Kingdom, the hidden bonus level. I've made a video about it, but that's the only place you can find those items. You have to go to that location and find chests in that area to unlock these pieces. So there are little things. Some require you to buy all the Senseis. Some require you to buy the creation crystals to get all the parts. But like I said, that's just a small fraction of the overall number of parts. So the vast majority of them can be unlocked in game without doing anything except playing through the game. But there are a couple that have prerequisites, extra, I guess, purchases required to get a few of the parts. So Yes, there is some extra cost involved if you want everything, but I think most people will be okay with the options that they have already. As for duplicate parts, yes, you can actually get duplicate parts in the game, and if you get a duplicate part, it's going to increase the stats of that part in the game. So they're not completely useless, because if you've seen the stats of especially some of those ultimate parts, like they're pretty good already, but if you get a duplicate part, it increases those. As far as we've seen, there is no limit to how many times that can increase. So if you keep playing and playing and playing, you could really just blow up these, inflate these stats like none other, and have like the ultimate Imaginator. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out, what people are able to do with these characters over time. I'm curious to what your thoughts are on Activision's poor communication with its consumers. For example, Jingle Bell Champion was a Black Friday no-show, and nobody knows for sure when Wave 3 will be released. Thrillipede and his vehicle having a limited release, as well as the Yawn Traps and the Light Dark Adventure Packs and Trap Team. Skylanders is a collectible game, and I believe many people like to collect every figure with each release of the game. Activision has been horrible lately and giving us solid release dates in the US. I can't think of another game that doesn't let its fans know when their game is coming out or when the DLC for that game will be made available. At the very least, I think they should give fans an opportunity to buy certain hard-to-find figures directly from the company. Yeah, poor communication is definitely an issue. Always has been. I don't see that getting much better. Activision's kind of official line is that they believe the fans enjoy the hunt. And while that's true to some extent, a lot of people want some kind of date. Even if you gave us a time frame, like, it'd be better. But you make a couple of good points there. Like, I can't agree with that everybody wants to collect every single figure. There are a lot of hardcore fans out there that do want all the figures, but there's a lot of casual players out there too that don't get every figure. There's a lot of kids playing this that the parents are buying it for them, and they don't get every figure. I've experienced this. I've been in contact with enough fans that it's as much as everybody would love to have every figure, that they can't get them all every year. But with that being said, you are right in saying that, yeah, that there's not really another game that doesn't give you Skylanders always gives you a release date of the main game. They're very good about that. They give us release date a couple months in advance, and they stick to that release date. So you can't argue with that. They tell you when the game is coming out. But as far as the DLC, which I think we can all agree that the figures are physical DLC. That's what they are. Especially when you get into the adventure packs and stuff like that, it's DLC. So you're right. Other games do give you a date on when this DLC is coming. But the one thing other games don't have to deal with is physical distribution. Most DLC comes digitally. And so they don't have to worry about shipping and retail and all these other things that Skylanders is dealing with. Now, I'm not saying that Skylanders is doing everything right, that they have an excuse, but I'm saying that they do have a lot more to deal with than most other games do. With that being said, too, like, you look at LEGO Dimensions, and they've been a lot better with announcing release dates and sticking to them and getting their product in stores and that sort of thing. So they're proof that it can be done, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not trying to give Skylanders an excuse, but they just got stuck in their rut now that this is how they've been doing it for the past 5-6 years, and that's how they continue to do things. Whereas LEGO Dimensions has come out and said, well, these are the problems with the Toys to Life industry right now, and we're going to fix them. And so they've done that with their franchise, and Skylanders is still there, and they're kind of floundering now. So it just makes them look even worse when someone else comes out and says, hey, this is possible, this is how you do it. So yeah, it definitely, communication is an issue. Like I said, always has been, always will be. I don't see that changing. It's an unfortunate thing because Skylanders was a huge hit and people like it, and even with the poor communication, people continue to like it. So if they could fix that, they could keep going for years and years, I'm sure. But it's probably not going to happen that way. And last question of the week then. What are your thoughts on the recent rumors of Skylanders 2017 being canceled and at the end of the franchise coming to an end? I'm not really going to address that here. I have written an article about it. If you want to check it out, go to SkylandersCharacterList.com, and I believe the article is titled, actually I can pull it up here. The article is titled, "Is This the End of Skylanders?" I don't want to freak anybody out. Right now, it's all just rumors. That's all we know. We don't have any hard evidence to say any of this is true. I cover that in the article there. There's one video in particular that has people questioning everything. And I'll address the things that are in there in the article. I'm going to just let you go there, read it, check it out. A lot of good conversation going on that page, and you can share your thoughts there as well. But yeah, it's all rumors right now. I'm not going to say anything more about it until we know more. So when I find out something, you will be sure to know as well. I don't hold back information like that. I don't like to report on rumors, but this one was so big I did have to say something about it, and it's going to be there in that article, so you can go check that out. All right, that's all we have for this week of Ask Matt. This has been episode 7. Once again, thank you everybody who took the time to send in your questions. Thank you if you took time to watch the video this far. Once again, if you have any questions you want to ask for next week, leave them down in the comments below. 1 question per person per week. Try to get them in by Monday, and I'll have another video for you next week. So until then, have a good week.